Okay, but I think, I had said I wanted, I was finally going to give up the ghost, that I could do all this and earn enough money to, because it's so slow in my market, on top of everything, my feet swell up, really bad, and that's the thing I asked her is, am I hurting myself by doing this? Anything I've read online, which I don't trust, just anything I read online, said that, of course they say, and I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if this would be true, that walking sometimes, I think they say sometimes, they put that word in there, helps. It's always helped me, but then my ankles would be really swollen, and the legs, and the, okay guys, I was watching them in front of me, you saw that, huh? But, ankles, feet, and the bottom parts of my legs, lower legs. It would feel like the skin was just, of course it was water, but it would feel like it was shrink wrapped. So seriously, both my legs. Anyway, but I asked her and she didn't answer. I don't think she has answered. I think she may have said, yeah, we need to get you a cardiologist. And everything was the cardiologist. She was supposed to send me something about that, and I guess I need to get on my portal. I don't know if I've done that before or not. I've seen the doctor. I've seen her once. I saw her once before. Now it's twice. And I don't know if I did the portal things. I'm so sick of portals. Get this portal. Get on our app. Get on our this. Before you know it, nothing is going. It's already close to it. Nothing is as it used to be. And that's something that gets me, because I've been thinking a lot about this, because I'm watching that show. I'd already watched season 1 of Just Murders in the Building. I'd already watched season 1, but I somehow missed season 2 and 3. I knew a new one was out, but I thought it was season 2, but no, it's 3. So I've been watching. I'm now on season 3. I watched all of season 2. Now I'm on season 3, and the characters, the older characters, all the things that they remember from times gone by, and it made me think more. It's not my first time to think about stuff like this, but it made me think more about how much somebody my age and older, how much we know. We've learned all that stuff, and now we have to learn all this stuff. So we got a lot of stuff in our heads. A lot of stuff. And people wonder why we can't remember certain things. Wow. No, but I truly understand. Two of my grandparents and my mother had dementia, so I don't make fun. I don't joke around about that. It's totally something different than what a lot of people think. But I worked with dementia patients. So before, not as a healthcare provider though. I'm not a healthcare provider. Nothing I say should be taken as any form of advice on anything. Nothing should be taken as advice. Anyway, with all that stuff going on, and then some, and then on top of it, and I don't know if I should say it, but I'm going to say it. Adam's sister, I didn't tell Adam what the doctor said because I wasn't the nurse practitioner, not the nurse practitioner, the healthcare provider. I'm just going to start saying those. What she said, because she was a little confused about it and herself, and so without her knowing her and her confusion, I didn't want to tell him that, it's going to be an adjustment, some changes and all that stuff. I didn't tell him. And then his sister, who is like I'm not fond of her, let me put it that way. Yeah, she's like 2 years older than I, 2 or 3. And she called, and I mean, I was sad for her, but she has some serious health condition, and that she has to rush back to. She was in Canada, and she's not a Canadian, so she doesn't have their insurance, and she's gonna have to rush back to their country of origin, and have emergency surgery. I feel for her, I really do. I kept thinking, you know, don't think negative thoughts, you know, something negative will happen, which I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I don't believe in jinxing yourself and, you know, any of those kinds of things. But I still feel them. I still think them because I grew up with people who think and believe this way. And so I will, and I did, and then I said, oh, yeah, when I got my results last night, I said, see there, I jinxed myself. I don't believe in jinxing myself. I don't believe in jinxes, remember. But still, the thought is going to be there like that. Okay, but anyway, you know, and she told him, and he was, and I'm like, you know, he told me some things that she said, which she said it's not the same thing, but it could be similar. It could, well, part of it is, but not the one that I was talking about. Well, actually, we did talk about that when I saw this healthcare provider. We did. I'm going to be running some tests again. I already knew that from last year. But she has to order them. So it's going to be a lot involved. But his sister, you know, I'm not going to say what her health condition is, but it's not the same, but it's kind of similar. Let's just put it that way. And she had told him some things, and then he looked it up. And some things, and I was thinking, I got to tell him, you know. It's not like, you know, I should have to rush or something, but I'm like, this, you know, the negative thing I was thinking about is, you know, whenever something is really serious about you, something, whether it's good or something bad, you know, you should actually be in the spotlight. I am not a spotlight person. I don't want to be in the spotlight. And, I mean, as a gentle giant, I'm practically always, people look at me and it's not good, you know. You two are going to slam one another, aren't you? Yep. Anyway. That one sucked. I see a lot of that stuff, but that was not as bad as what I've seen. People going in, coming in opposite directions. But anyway, but still, you know, I need to mention it because I'm having to adjust some medicine, my blood pressure medication. And today, the top on one of them said 98, and I was like, it was like 98 over 83, and I was like, what? Okay, does everybody have to park right here? I think a lot of people know what I mean by that. You go and you park somewhere, you know, away from all the buildings, so you can have a little privacy, and you're not close to somebody. That car. Anyway, and you do that, and then people start parking right next to you. Herd mentality, much, you know. So they just crowd you. It's like, what the crap? Really, that one moved. But yeah. Anyway, so I mean, it wasn't about the spotlight. It was like, okay, now that I say that she has told him that, and he's feeling, you know, he's feeling a lot about it. You know, her situation is immediate. Okay, let me put it that way. Hers is rush. Hers is emergency. You know, from what I understand, mine is not, but you know, anything emergent, and mine can be just through medication and stuff like that. From what I understand, I could be wrong. But I just got my results last night, Friday night, so yeah. On the portal, one of the portals. And one of. Okay, let's go. Anyway, so, you know, it's one of those things. If I mention it to him, I'm going to sound like, you know, and even to myself, it's like, okay, maybe I should wait a few days, or, you know, but at the same time, you're like, here I am doing this again, putting myself last, you know, and it's one of those things, because I know, you know, like some people think that I'm trying to steal her thunder. No, it would be, you know, some people might think that I didn't tell anybody, so. But, you know, in those kinds of situations, that's what some people will jump to. You know, I've seen it in the past. I've seen, not that exact situation, of course, but those kinds of situations where, you know, some things happen so coincidentally, just at the same kind of time. Because I had never heard that she had any health issues. And he had told them, because one of her children is a doctor, adult, like 40 years old or somewhere like that, but and he had mentioned something to her and to them, and I told him, don't do that. I don't want them knowing about my health conditions. I don't want, you know, them knowing about what I do to get the health insurance. I don't want them to know, because they're basically a bunch of malicious gossips. So, and then the way that they like to make me the scapegoat, then it's gonna be a whole drama with them. I don't want that. And that was months ago. I don't want them knowing anything about me. I really don't. Yeah. I don't need that kind of grief. I don't need that kind of drama. You know, putting up with that kind of stuff. And then this happened. And now I feel for her. I don't like her. I've never been a fan of hers. She was so rude to me. The one time I met her, she stayed here she came back twice, I think once or twice. But in a period of 6 months, she was here, stayed with us for a while, a few years ago, and she did not treat me right. And in their country, women are only half of that of a man. And, you know, I've been saying these things about the cultural differences. And they're only worth half that of a man. And someone like her, just 2 or 3 years older than I, his sister is supposed to be more important in his life than I am. And that if I did something like, I didn't fill up my whole tank of gas one day, and it just shocked me when Adam told me about this. She was with me, and I didn't fill it all the way up because it, you know, whatever had happened, it was windy or whatever. Who knows? I don't need an excuse. I'm a grown woman, you know, 60 years old now. That was just like, let me see, about 7 or 8 years ago, 6 or 7, I don't know. And so she told him, like she was tattling, that I didn't fill my tank up completely. And he told me, he said, she told me this, like, you know, and basically what all he said was like, I deserve some kind of punishment for that from him, because he's my ruler. You get what I'm saying? It's not funny. That kind of sexism is not funny at all. No sexism is funny. But just the nerve of this woman. And that wasn't all. That when she was with us, my blood pressure was sky high. So much of the time when I would test it, it was just sky high. And because she was such a horrible person toward me. And when she left to go see one of his other brothers, I whispered to her. She wanted to hug me, you know, like give a big show. And when it did, I said, "You be good now." Because, no. Oh, and she just laughed. And then when she left, she had come back, and then after she stayed for a while again, she left to go back to their country of origin. And she says, "I'm sorry I caused you so much trouble." She knew what she was doing. She had that smirk on her face. So she's not the best thing, you know, the best person, but it's still at the same time, my values, how I am, how I personally am, I cannot, you know, I would feel for her. She's a human. She's another human being, and she's going to go through this. So I am not going to be what I hate. You see, I mean, because it's just not me. I mean, I wouldn't be that anyway. But, you know, I don't even have to think about it. This is how I am. You know, I'm not going to say anything like, "Oh, she deserves it." But that family would hear something about me, and because they like to make me the scapegoat and they blame everything on me anyway, they say, "Well, she deserves it." You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so. Okay, but anyway, as far as my blood pressure today, that first one, 98, I was like, what? Because I have to back up. I'm getting back to this point. I have to back up to two of my medications I take 2 a day. I was only taking 1 a day, but it's gotten worse. But I take 2 a day since the past few months, I don't know. And they both have a diuretic. And it's the same pill, just twice a day, 12 hours apart. And this healthcare provider, she wants me to take it instead of when I was taking it, like 10 and 10, she wants me to take it more as earlier for breakfast, and then 12 hours later. And then there's another one I was taking, a different type. I was only taking one a day. It was at 4 or 5, and she said she wants me to take that one at lunch. So when I'm moving to breakfast, and I'm not going to do that all at one time. That's overload. You see, that's what worried me. That would be overload. So when I did it last night, just an hour, back, and went an hour back, and on that one, and then this morning, an hour back. Well, no, not this morning. Yeah, this morning, an hour back. And then I tested an hour later. That's what she told me to do. For that one. And my blood pressure was 98/83. I went, whoa. So I have so many of these monitors. I tested the other ones, and it was higher. It was 198/83. And then I tested the other ones too. And then went back and tested the original one. It said 157 over whatever, I'm like, okay, now mess with my head. And those ones, they say the best ones, and I want them to show me that research. I'm finding a lot of things people say, even in medical, it's just like they passed around the same kind of information, and somebody didn't understand the research. And I'm trained in reading, understanding research, and who would be the best people to believe. And I'm not a healthcare provider, so don't listen to me like I said. Don't take it as a word of law or any of that, but some of the things I've heard them say, I'm like, I want to see that research. And I want to see it from somebody good, like NIH or something like that. I don't want to see it from just a website, and they're trying to sell their website and their whatever products. No, I don't want to see that. I don't. So, plain and simple. But that's my view. I'm not telling anybody else to do it that way. I'm not giving anybody any form of advice. Nope. But this is how I see it. This is how I do it after 20-something years. Yeah, being a career student, both undergraduate and graduate. Yeah, and in fields that, well, at least one of them relies heavily on research. Both of them do. So, anyway, where was I? So much in my brain right now, but definitely all this about what went on and everything, I'd have to vent, because when I did test my blood pressure, it was so high. I tested I went and got all my machines. I was going to talk about the ones that go on, they say the ones on the wrist aren't that great. The ones that, you put on the upper arm, the lower part of the upper arm, right near the elbow, however it says to do it, on whichever one you do. I say you have to be a contortionist to do it yourself. Seriously. I have 2 of them, and yeah, I got to be a contortionist to get that done. But to get that on, just on, man, either one of them. But I don't know. I read some research on that one. Really? Interesting. Read more research today. I'm going to start reading, going through, reading what the NIH and there's, what's the other? NIHHP? I don't know. Anyway. But I'm not telling anybody to do that, because I have been trained in how to read these things. And I am not an expert on that either. I definitely took enough for me to know, but for me, but not anybody else. Anyway, kind of rambling. But it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And I will read what other places say, and then I'll compare it to other ones. And you can see on their web how many pop-ups come up, and I can see, or what they're trying to sell and stuff like that. Do they have any good links? And then I can see what they're suggesting and go read it in something more professional. And quite often what I've been finding is that they took something and kind of got confused and made it into something else. That's how I see it. Like I said, I could be wrong. I could be wrong in all of this. But I do wonder how many people are going to drive really close to me. They see a target. Ooh, and I'm going to go whip around it real fast. So, oh my goodness. But I'm going to see how all this works. And like I said, I told him. And I think I prefer to keep a lot of stuff to myself, which is my typical. Because, it's so much, always so much with somebody else, everything, with other people. always. But I don't like it because I don't want people to know, because I am used to people being like that. If, you know, some people, they hear, oh, this, well, let me see how I can take advantage of it. And I am not kidding. It is not me making it up. It's not me being paranoid. It's not me being just too suspicious or just have too cynical to. It's actually, okay, you don't need to be near me at all. I even found that funny, but I said that. And just as there was a guy walking up next to my SUV on this side, nobody's parked on this side. She or he moved. But there was a guy who just walked up. I turned around and looked right as I said that. And he's right there at my window on the other side of the SUV. But right outside of it. And I said, you don't need to be that close. I thought that was funny. Saying, I'm not paranoid, I'm not suspicious. But there he was. See, weird stuff happens at the weirdest times. You know, the coincidences. I know a lot of people, they don't want to believe in coincidences. I think everything is scheduled to happen to each and every person, everything. I just don't believe like that. I really don't. I don't believe that everything is scheduled. You know, I am a Christian too. So a lot of people say, well, as a Christian, I want to see the proof of that too. I want to see where you find this stuff in the Bible. You know, people often, they just spread stuff around one another, that, you know, to one another, and they may not even heard it from somebody who should be a voice of authority, and that's their clergy person. They may not have even heard it from them, or they interpreted what the clergy person said, or they have some you know. There are some of them who make mistakes, and they all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Every one of us makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. So they can make a mistake on something. They could misread something too. We hope that that's a better, you know, that they understand these better. But there's not always. There's some people, we all know there are some people who, they just, you know, they're snake oil salesmen, snake oil salespeople. Okay. We know this. So, but if you're going to quote, you know, if you're going to cite it's in the Bible, at least know where you've seen it. I mean, okay, now do you have to park? She's now parked right where that guy was walking. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of herd mentality at all. You know, if somebody sees, especially like, you know, you're going to the grocery store and somebody sticks their head. You're buying a product and you're reaching for it. You just walked up, you're reaching for it, and they put their hand in your face and grab it. That's happened. Or just do it. You're just standing there. You're about to get something. You're not even reaching out yet, and they put their hand in front of your face and say, excuse me, excuse me. No, you stand in line and wait your turn. I taught enough kids that. I kind of doubt, if you born and raised in the United States, I pretty much doubt that you weren't taught that. You know, you were taught that. It's a good chance you were taught that in school from growing up. Stand in line and wait your turn. You know, really, seriously, how did I get off on that? Anyway, I'm going to try to do some of this. I have to do, you know, I've realized I need to, you know, the whole thing with the disability, I really need to be on it. I should have been on it when I was young, seriously. But I'm the type that I just wanted to keep doing the best I could. You know, I'm not saying anybody who's on disability is wrong. I mean, I know I've heard stories just like everybody else, you know, probably, but show me the proof. That's mean, because I wouldn't be able to show you the proof either. But, yeah, just don't believe everything you read. Oh, all these people are on disability that shouldn't be on disability. You know, because getting on disability is not easy. Maybe they, you know, you can say maybe they this and maybe that, whatever, but show the proof, you know. But, like I said, I couldn't, so there. But I have never, I don't know if I ever tried for disability or if it was just Medicaid, so I'd have health insurance. But I have been considered an American with disabilities since I was young. So my health condition starts off when I was a child. But I should probably clarify that as far as the government basically having me listed as an American with disabilities. I don't think they called that at first, but it was going back to the 1980s or 1990s. But I've never been on disability. And it's a government thing that has me listed as such. And with a few health conditions, mainly the original one, and then just problems that it causes. And now they just added edema to it. Swelling of the feet and all that. So that seems like that's the most qualifying one out of all of them that I really shouldn't be working. But like I said, I asked her, am I hurting myself by doing it? She didn't answer. So I had been waiting once again to see her and then ask her and then see what I would do. So, but yeah, it all goes back around and around and around in circles. Anyway, now I'm going to try to go do at least 2 or 3 orders offers. We'll see. Take them. It's kind of late. It's 1:23. Just changed PM. We'll see.